A pair of young border guards at the checkpoint stared blankly at the woman standing before them. Her documents had expired, and her bag, bulging with heavy tools, was under suspicion. They began to sift through the contents without saying a word, and the woman didn't protest. She remained still, emotionless, as they tossed her belongings onto a steel table, rummaging through with increasing curiosity. "Where's your valid ID?" one guard asked, his voice unsteady, yet demanding. The woman didn't respond. She simply waited. Then, a senior officer walked past. He paused when his eyes fell on something in the pile, an insignia stitched on a cloth. It was a wolf, its form dissolving into mist. He moved closer, murmuring to the soldiers, "Leave it. Don't touch anything else." This insignia, the symbol of an elite covert unit, was all he needed to see. Her name was Lila Cross, a woman in her early 40s, dressed in well-worn civilian clothing. Her jacket, a dull brown, had seen better days, and her backpack was caked in dirt. But the military-grade tools within told a different story. She had arrived at the Hartwick Station's border post at midday, carrying a visitor's pass. Officially, she was there to offer advice on a technical malfunction with some radar equipment. But from the moment she handed over her pass, suspicion crept into the guards' minds. "Your pass expired a week ago," the soldier remarked. Lila nodded, not offering an explanation, as the young guards proceeded to open her bag. Out spilled her tools, electronic components, a small soldering iron, a digital optics kit, and a few sheets of classified documents. One guard, Private Warren, grew increasingly tense. "This equipment isn't authorized for civilians. Where did you get this?" Without hesitation, Lila watched them tear through her things, not one word of protest leaving her lips. They found a hidden cloth pocket, and from it a faded patch. The guard's eyes widened when he recognized it. It was the insignia of the Phantom Task Force. Lila's past was now exposed. She said nothing as the guards froze, confusion setting in. They couldn't have known who she really was. Lila Cross was no mere contractor. She had once been part of a special operations team that no longer existed. Official records claimed she had perished years ago. In truth, she was among the few who survived an operation that had gone terribly wrong. Rather than face the fallout, she vanished from all known records. And that was exactly how she intended to stay. Nearby, Colonel Jack Ramsey, the station commander, happened to pass by. He caught sight of the patch on the table, and his heart sank. He hadn't seen that insignia in over a decade. "Stand down," he ordered the guards, his voice low and urgent. "That's the Phantom Task Force." The guards exchanged looks but obeyed his command. In private, Colonel Ramsey led Lila into his office. As the door closed behind them, he finally spoke. "We thought all of you were gone after that disastrous mission in the mountains." Lila met his gaze, her calm demeanor unwavering. "That's the official story." He pressed on. "How did you know about the interference affecting our systems?" Lila placed a logbook on the desk in front of him. It contained detailed notes on communication frequencies, jamming patterns, and drone malfunctions. "This," she said, "isn't a glitch. Someone is deliberately targeting your systems." Ramsey leaned back, absorbing her words. "Why come now, though? And why the expired credentials?" Lila's expression hardened slightly. "Last time I tried to help, they erased me from history. I was made a ghost. That's how I got here today." Ramsey studied the notebook, noting the patterns she had described. "This looks like the anomaly we've been trying to solve for months." Lila nodded. "I can tell you who's behind it, but you won't like it." The colonel asked the technician to compare the writing in Lila's logbook with old records from the Phantom Task Force. 20 minutes later, the answer came back. "This is her," the tech confirmed. "Lila Cross, call sign, Shadowhawk. She designed the original counter-jamming protocols we still use." Ramsey sat back, his mind racing. "So, you built the systems that protect this base?" "I started them," she replied coolly. "But someone's figured out how to exploit what we couldn't finish." Ramsey's voice dropped. "You're saying whoever's targeting us has intimate knowledge of our security systems?" "They know everything," she said, "and they're using it against you." The gravity of the situation dawned on the colonel. Whoever was behind the attacks had access to the most sensitive data the military had, data that should have been long buried. He needed answers, and Lila was his best chance. What do you need to stop this? Access to your drone systems for 2 days, Lila said without hesitation, and a team that can follow instructions without asking questions. Ramsey didn't waste a second. Done. Over the next 48 hours, Lila worked with a small team of technicians, handpicked by the colonel, to overhaul the station's drone systems. At first, there were doubts. Lieutenant Alex Grant, one of the younger techs, questioned her every move. "Are we really trusting her with this?" he whispered to Ramsey. By the time Lila had finished, all doubts were gone. She'd reinforced the drone systems with new encryption methods and jamming protocols, stabilizing the entire operation. More importantly, she had pinpointed the exact location where the interference was originating. "Colonel," Grant whispered later, "she didn't just fix the problem. She built our entire security system." Within hours, the proof of her work came. During a routine drill, the drones experienced a sudden GPS failure, sending them spiraling into a potential crash. But Lila's new protocols kicked in, stabilizing their flight paths until they regained control. Without her intervention, the military would have lost millions in equipment, and potentially much worse. At a security briefing that evening, Ramsey stood before his senior officers. 3 days ago, we nearly lost valuable assets in what we thought was equipment failure. It wasn't a failure. It was sabotage, deliberate and calculated. He gestured to Lila, standing quietly in the back of the room. This woman, call sign Shadow Hawk, was part of a unit disbanded years ago after an operation went awry. Yet, thanks to her, we're not only still standing, but we now have the most secure drone system in the entire military. A major in the crowd raised a hand. "How do we know she's who she says she is?" Ramsey didn't hesitate. He pulled out a file. "Because I was there when her unit saved my life and 46 others during the Kandahar ambush. I was one of the soldiers she helped evacuate." The room fell silent, and Ramsey turned toward Lila, saluting her. "It's an honor, Lila." But Lila's response was unexpected. "I didn't come back for this," she said, her voice steady. "I came back because there's someone else out there who's targeting you." She paused. "A rogue operative from the Phantom Task Force." The room buzzed with tension. Could it be true? A former operative gone rogue? Lila held up a hand, signaling for silence. "I have my suspicions, but it'll take time to prove. Whoever it is, they won't stop until they've destroyed everything we've built." Ramsey made a quick decision. "I'm offering you a permanent consultant position. Full security clearance. We need you." Lila paused. "I'll help, but I work alone, and I don't want to be in any official records. Some ghosts are better left forgotten." Her refusal didn't diminish her value. She worked quietly, improving systems and defenses. Months later, the attack stopped. Whether it was Lila's fixes or the rogue operative caught, no one knew. But Hartwick Station's security became the gold standard nationwide. From then on, if anyone faced a tough problem, they were told, "Ask Miss Cross. She's here every Wednesday." Lila had chosen to remain unseen. Her work was for safety, not recognition. Her legend endured, as did her vital, silent contributions.